Happy New Year, Iowers, and welcome back to another episode of InformOverload with me, your host, Matthew Stephen. On today's episode, we're going to talk about Meghan taking on the title Princess, Leonardo DiCaprio's newest fling, and the missing leader of Scientology. In light of the bombshell claims made in Netflix's Harry and Meghan docu-series, and with Prince Harry's much-anticipated memoir just weeks from release, there's been renewed calls from royal fans for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to have their last remaining titles stripped. To recap, after their decision to step down as senior working royals in 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle were banned from using their Sussex titles commercially, although they still technically have them, as well as their HRH titles, with critics now saying these should be removed too. But according to Ingrid Seward, the editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, Meghan could well be on her way to adopting a princess title, which we're pretty sure trumps Duchess anyway, right? Speaking on the Royal Beat podcast, Seward explained that royal protocol dictates that Meghan could take the princess title followed by her husband's first name, which is actually Henry, not Harry. The royal expert said, "I don't think anything will happen to the titles because if they lose their titles, Harry is still prince by blood, and Meghan, instead of being the Duchess of Sussex, would be Princess Henry. Even though Harry has never used Henry in his titles but instead going by his childhood nickname, Meghan could still adopt his name if their title changed." Nevertheless, Seward thinks a title change for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex isn't necessary. The Queen gave them the titles, let them keep them. They're gonna be H and M anyways. The Queen gave them the titles, let them keep them. They're gonna be H and M anyway, she said, adding that the best thing is to let them get on with it, which is really what the palace and the royal family are doing. Moving right along to talk about Leo's newest fling. Earlier this week, Lorenzo Lamas revealed that his daughter Victoria was smitten with DiCaprio, but isn't dating the Oscar-winning playboy. "I know she likes him very much," Lorenzo said. "I think they met last month. I'm not sure of the circumstances, but that's what she told me." The 1980s heartthrob confirmed Wednesday that his 23-year-old daughter had gushed over DiCaprio, 48, during a Christmas Eve phone call after she was seen getting into the car in West Hollywood on December 20. "She's very smitten," Lorenzo, 64, told the Post. "I told her to treat the relationship like the holiday. Just enjoy it as much as you can for as long as it lasts. And if it lasts more than a typical holiday, great. But if not, then just guard your heart, because she's very young." But about 15 minutes after that, Lorenzo called the Post back after apparently being admonished by his daughter, who he said just wants to keep everything private. "I only talked to you because I felt it would be a positive thing, but she does not feel that way," Lorenzo admitted. "They're friends, they're not in a serious relationship," he continued, "and I just want to be clear." Lamas then characterized the connection as a friendship, noting Victoria and DiCaprio had met in a social environment rather than a romantic one. Asked if Victoria was still very smitten with DiCaprio, Lamas replied, "Yeah, smitten, but they're not dating. She's fond of him, obviously, but they're not dating, and she does not want that out there because that would be really bad. It'd be embarrassing for her if he should happen to read something that said that they're dating and they're not." Still, Dad couldn't resist doubling back on himself. "They're just friends, but she is smitten, of course," he repeated. "And that was my cautionary tale to her. Take one step at a time, but as of now, they're not an item. They're not exclusive to each other." Victoria Arlene Lamas, a 5'8" brunette model and actress who, being under 25, fits DiCaprio's type, has been thrust into the limelight since she was spotted last week with the actor at the Bird Streets Club in West Hollywood. The 5 times married Lorenzo, who is engaged to 37-year-old former model Kenna Scott, 27 years, believes age is just a number and also isn't worrying about DiCaprio's hard partying reputation, he said. "Well, no, because my daughter is mature," he added. "I trust her judgment. It remains to be seen whether romance will come from Victoria's friendship with DiCaprio, who is often seen with his ladies on bike outings." But another source agreed that it's not there yet. "If they were dating, you'd see them every day doing other things instead of paparazzi pics," the source told the Post. Now on to our last topic of the day. The Scientology leader is missing? Scientology leader David is nowhere to be found as attempts are made to serve the 62-year-old with a child trafficking lawsuit that names him as a defendant. According to public court documents and the Tampa Bay Times, the court documents show process servers attempted to serve papers to the leader 27 different times over the past few months in the Clearwater, Florida area, and in Los Angeles to no avail. A document filed in Florida court on December 13th read, "There is more than enough evidence to demonstrate that David has intentionally concealed his location and erected obstacles to evade personal services of process." The Church of Scientology's Public Affairs Director Karen told Fox News David is not running from the law. She declined to comment further on the pending lawsuit. Former Scientology church members, husband and wife Gowan and Laura Baxter, filed the lawsuit after claiming they were forced into labor on Scientology boats as children after signing a $1 billion year contract in exchange for little or no money. Paris reportedly left the church in 2009 and Gowan and Laura Baxter left in 2012. In addition to the trafficking allegations, Paris alleges was the victim of repeated assault in her youth, and that when her mother left Scientology, the then 17-year-old was locked in an engine room for 48 hours as punishment. Gowan Baxter said his parents put him in a sea nursery when he was 2 months old, according to the lawsuit. When he turned 6, he was also forced to sign the $1 billion year contract and sent to live in a cadet org dormitory with around 100 other children. Children over 6 years old are considered to be and are frequently told that they are adults and that they should act and expect to be treated as adults. The lawsuit noted in background that the children must be referred to as cadets and not kids. U.S. Magistrate Judge Julie Sneed served a summons to David on behalf of the plaintiffs. 10 copies of the summons were sent to various Scientology properties in Florida and California in efforts to reach him, and all were sent back as undelivered since nobody would sign for them.
Happy holidays, IOers, and welcome back to another episode of Inform Overload with me, your host, Stacey Taylor. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about how Selena Gomez hikes rare beauty prices, McDonald's has been taken over by artificial intelligence, and who would have guessed Meg and Harry's documentary is fake. No more attitude at the counter for McDonald's customers as they have launched a new fully automated restaurant in Texas completely run by machines. Yes, that's right. You won't have to speak to anyone at all, but this has made quite the stir on the internet as people seem to be divided. But do you think it's a good idea? The brand's new eatery, located just outside of Fort Worth, uses advanced technology so that customers may order their food and receive their meal without having to interact with humans. And of course, some people are excited and some people have found the idea completely scary. I, for one, am for this because on my bad days, I'd rather not have to interact with a lot of people if I didn't have to. A TikToker who goes by the username Foodie Mustard online visited the restaurant and documented the entire thing on the app, and it caused a major debate among its viewers. The video they posted featured a McDonald's with no employees behind the counter near the entrance to the large touchscreen for people to place their orders on. Your food will still be cooked by real people though. You just won't be interacting with them at all because they're tucked away in the kitchen. Here's a thought. What do you do if your order is wrong? Do you complain to the machine, or will a person come out and handle the matter? Some people were all for the idea, with one viewer writing, "Finally, my order will be quick and accurate." But will it though? Another viewer wrote, "Love it, no attitudes, crankiness, or incompetence." And as it moves to the other parts of dining, no tips. Well, excuse me, sir, if you're going out and can't afford to tip, maybe you shouldn't be going out. Other viewers weren't into the concept at all, with one user writing, "No thanks, I love the people that work there. I want to hear voices and see faces. I want smiles at both windows." Some people have even called it scary, saying, "This will put so many people out of work. I'm not for it." In a press release, the fast food chain explained that the restaurant is geared towards customers who want to dine at home or on the go, and that's why there's no seating inside, and it's considerably smaller than a traditional McDonald's. They describe the new concept as a fast and seamless experience for both customers and crew. There's never been a McDonald's quite like this one before. We are always innovating to improve our customer experience no matter how they want to order or receive their food. I feel like this has concerning written all over it. Like, what if machines malfunction? Because at the end of the day, nothing's perfect and things need to be replaced from time to time. Also, if they forget an item, who are you supposed to talk to? The robot. Now let's move on to talk about how Selena Gomez's rare beauty line announced a slight increase in product prices as of January 1st, 2023 due to inflation. However, all products will remain $30 and under according to the Base Pop Twitter account. The letter reads, "In the spirit of transparency, the cost of creating our high-quality, feel-good formulas has gone up. With growing inflation and rising costs of premium ingredients, as well as transportation across our supply chain, we've adjusted our prices in order to continue to provide you with the quality you come to know and love. All Rare Beauty makeup products will still remain $30 and under. We appreciate your understanding and hope you continue to enjoy all things Rare Beauty. Thanks so much for being a part of our community. With gratitude, the Rare Beauty team. Mind you, Rare Beauty isn't the only brand that will or already have increased their prices due to inflation. Brands like Dior and Chanel have also followed protocol in raising their prices as well. Rare Beauty falls in the top 10 best-selling makeup brands along with ColourPop, Charlotte Tilbury, MAC Cosmetics, NYX Professional Makeup, Fenty Beauty, Dior Cosmetics, Benefit, Tarte, and Anastasia. Back in 2020, the Rare Beauty brand received massive support upon its launch. Their Instagram account racked up over 1 million followers in just one day after its creation. However, good support wasn't the only kind of action they were getting. The brand has also been slammed with a petition for cancellation, and it was demanded that they hand over $10 million to avoid trademark infringement suit, in which Rare Beauty filed a counter lawsuit. Kashina Hurd, owner of Rare Beauty Cosmetics, had said that she launched her brand back in 2017 with a mission to break beauty standards, and Selena Gomez launched her brand in 2020 with a very similar mission and name. Gomez filed for trademark, which blocked Hurd from doing so herself and allowing the brand to expand the last 5 years. Rare Beauty did previously try to settle the case in court, but they couldn't agree to terms with Hurd, which resulted in the company filing a lawsuit and seeking the court to nullify the situation and affirm the validity of the trademark registration. Moving on to talk about the accusations towards Harry and Meghan's Netflix docu-series being fake and choreographed. Hollywood Bible Variety appears to have turned on Harry and Meghan after it ran a piece suggesting that the pair repeatedly complained about the royal family and had made them a one-trick pony. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's fake footage in their documentary trailer. Bosses at the streaming giant were not happy as the docu-series appeared to air footage unrelated to the Sussexes. An article on the VIP section of the publication's website said some skepticism was warranted as whether the pair had gone to the well one too many times, with their often repeated tale of mistreatment at the hands of the English royal family. The piece, written by Andrew Wallerstein, the president and chief media analyst of Variety intelligence platform, questioned how much more meat could possibly be left on this bone, particularly after Harry's book Spare is published next year. The Netflix documentary proved to be a hit for the streaming service, with nearly 2.5 million people watching the first episode on day of the launch. Variety's piece did predict that by the time Harry's book comes out, people may see that a backlash already starting to grow really accelerates as the couple's strategically timed disclosure starts to come across too carefully choreographed. They added that even the dimmest of minds among their friends would eventually tire, and their "oh woe is us" routine is just them playing the victim card again and again. Mr. Wallenstein, who compared the couple to a burlesque act that he wrote, that if the pair carried on complaining about being victimized, it risked being seen as a tone-deaf message to be given out from their posh estate in California when there was an economic insecurity around the world. He added their game plan has always been to come off as a sob story and for this high-minded uplift. Earlier this week, it's been revealed that Harry and Meghan will executive produce an already commissioned show called Live to Lead, which interviews leaders who are committed to making a difference around the world. New Zealand's Prime Minister, one of the guests, put out a statement saying that they had already signed up for the project before the couple was even on board, and now no one can back out. I know a lot of you are over the Harry and Meghan drama, so I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below.
Kim Kardashian finally speaks out on how it's been dealing with Kanye and the kids. Tory Lanez is trying to avoid prison time with an appeal, and a new trend taking over TikTok is being questioned for being too dark. Let's get right into it. Clips of Kim Kardashian getting candid on the Angie Martinez IRL podcast have been going viral, as we finally get to hear how everything that's been going on recently with Kanye has been affecting her. Since Kanye took things to a whole different level of controversy with his most recent public behavior, we really haven't heard anything from ex-wife and mother of their 4 children, Kim Kardashian. The reality star broke down into tears while opening up about her struggles trying to co-parent with Kanye West amid their split. Kardashian told Martinez that hiding the noise from her kids while trying her best to co-parent with Kanye is a serious struggle, but she jumps through hoops to make sure their children are not the ones suffering from the negativity surrounding their father. Despite her being a reality TV star, this is probably the most real I've seen Kim in a while. Kardashian even shed some tears when speaking about her dad, Robert, and said that she hopes to give her kids the same great memories Robert gave to her. These memories are easier said than done for Kim, especially through the multiple waves of controversy. The West children, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm, ages 3 through 9, are only getting closer to having access to the internet, which means they will be able to go back and read about everything Kanye has ever said and what people have said about their father. As host Martinez points out, she wasn't married to a nobody. Kim tearfully hoped that one day her kids will be grateful for her not bashing their dad. This led to Kim opening up about her experience during Balenciaga's backlash for their inappropriate ad. Prior to the backlash, Kim was rarely caught in anything but Balenciaga, which means people also turned on Kim when her response to the whole thing didn't come quick enough according to the public. Kim claims her response didn't come right away simply because she, like the rest of us, had no idea what was going on at first. Kim got emotional again, saying she just needed a minute to get caught up with what was going on, and how when she didn't speak out, some people were upset that she didn't completely just say F you Balenciaga and cancel them completely. Kardashian also touched on her thoughts surrounding cancel culture and pointed out how frustrating it is to always try to do what's right, but constantly face the chopping block. She said that we obviously need to call out things that are wrong, but also most people make mistakes. I definitely feel for Kim when it comes to dealing with the Kanye West co-parenting situation, and I don't think Kim K took too long to address the Balenciaga thing because, like she said, she had nothing to do with it. There were a lot of other people at the company that needed to speak out before Kim, but let me know your thoughts. Moving on to Tory Lanez. The trial between him and Megan Thee Stallion recently came to an end, or so we thought, with Lanez being found guilty of 3 felonies in the 2020 shooting of Megan. Well, now Lanez's family and friends are getting together to help him avoid prison time, and they're doing it by going after the jury, the music industry, Jay-Z, and even suggesting Tory is a sacrificial lamb to do a solid for black women. Yeah, Tory, the jury, the entire music industry, and Jay-Z are the reason you are going to prison. You know someone's guilty when they compare them sending to a prison for shooting a woman as doing a solid for black women. Like, when has the justice system ever done a solid for black women? Soon after Tory was convicted of shooting Megan Thee Stallion, an online petition titled Appeal Tory Lanez's Verdict surfaced. The petition had a 25,000 signature goal, and they did not take long to start coming in fast. The petition claims, quote, Tory's trial was a circus of speculation, insufficient evidence, inconsistencies, and drunken memories that left us without much moral or any truth. To make things worse, fans of Tory are now attacking the jury, calling them irresponsible, claiming they rushed their decision and unjustly found Tory guilty on all 3 felony firearm counts. Or maybe the jury found the decision an easy one to make. Like, how are Tory's fans criticizing the jury? That's the point of a jury, to be unbiased. Of course his fans are going to be upset. Tory knows that, hence them putting a public petition out for the appeal. This petition has brought with it some pretty outlandish claims. Quote, this case is also about branding, marketing, label heads, and a music industry that pushes narratives based on who they have personally invested millions into. Could Jay-Z or Rock Nation be involved? And of course, quote, was this case taken because of a political pressure to fake protect black women? African Americans went along with hashtags that didn't protect anyone and instead caused division between black women and men. I think this decision did actually end up protecting a black woman, but hey, maybe Tory Lanez fans know something I don't. Regardless of how many theories his supporters bring to light about the verdict, it will be an uphill battle to win an appeal. Appeal courts generally don't throw out guilty verdicts because they may interpret the facts differently than the jury. Let me know if you think he deserves an appeal or if the jury made the right call. Now on to the latest kind of dark TikTok trend that is taking over the app. This one is all about tugging on family members' heartstrings, with usually teens revealing to their mothers that their favorite celebrities have passed away. Now, I personally have found these videos to be pretty funny, but the viral clips have also been met with some backlash. The trend has picked up some serious steam on social media, especially with all of the families getting together for the holidays. I mean, what a better way to pass the time at home than falsely announcing that George Clooney or Kris Jenner have passed away. The reactions are very mixed, from screaming to almost breaking down in tears. It really goes to show just how much some people love these stars. While the people on TikTok are getting a good laugh, the joke is not landing with some people who are calling the prank unsettling. Some people are even blasting the younger generation for making light of a celebrity passing away, even with it being untrue. Art Tavana on Twitter even commented, "This is so sick," and Nelly said, "Damn, where did we go wrong with our youth?" What do you think? Have you seen the trend going around? Is it a bit of harmless fun, or has this prank crossed a line? Johnny Depp is already sabotaging his career even before his comeback project has even been released. Whoopi Goldberg is facing backlash over her comments surrounding Jewish people in World War II, and Meghan Markle is in the headlines once again, but this time she's being compared to Kanye West and Trump. Let's get into it. You would think that after winning the very long and public defamation trial, Johnny Depp would want to be on his best behavior, but apparently he just can't help himself. Reportedly, Depp hasn't always been the most easy actor to work with due to his behavior on set. Depp is a genius on screen, and maybe this is part of the reason he feels he can get away with his on-set demeanors. The actor has reportedly backed his old ways on his comeback project, John de Barry, formerly called La Favorite. Actor Bernard Montiel made an appearance on the French talk show Don't Touch My TV Set in October. He was a part of the panel that's recently begun to make its rounds in English media. On the show, Montiel and the commentator claimed that Depp and French director Mai Wen had been clashing. Montiel revealed that he had heard some noise from the shoot, very serious stuff. Then he said, so Depp is an excellent actor when he comes on set, except sometimes at 6 in the morning the crew is ready and nobody turns up. So of course Mai Wen, who's the director, gets angry, and the next day she's the one who doesn't turn up. And you've got Johnny Depp and she's not there. It's finished over this week, but it's going very badly. They don't get on at all, they're screaming at each other the whole time. Sounds to me like maybe that trial win boosted Depp's ego a little bit too much and Mai Wen is not having it. I mean, both of them seem to be acting a bit childish with the whole just not showing up thing. They both need to think about all the other people on set as well. Some people may remember that Depp's constant lateness was among a series of alleged complaints from the crew of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, which was shot in Australia in 2015. According to a production dispatch from The Hollywood Reporter in 2017, quote, sources close to the production report tales of excessive drinking, physical fights with Amber Heard, and constant lateness on set, which often left hundreds of extras waiting for hours at a time. So this is how he was described before the trial, and then spent months having people paint him in a totally different light just to go back to being selfish and unprofessional on his very first project back. I bet all the people who were singing his praises earlier this year are starting to sweat. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who frequently found himself strategizing with other higher-ups around Depp's disregard for time, said, you've got to understand the kind of pressure Johnny was under in Australia. At times helicopters would follow him home. There would be so many media outside his gates that trucks were feeding them. There was so much stuff made up about him, like that Johnny had a fight and had gone back to the States, which we both read about while we were in his trailer. Okay, so maybe he had a reason for being late on that set, but what about the other times or his current situation? Also, what about all the other actors who constantly get bombarded by paparazzi yet manage to make it on time to set? I don't know, it's a totally valid slip up during a rough time, but at what point does a rough time turn into excuses for bad behavior? Depp's alleged chronic lateness also came up during his defamation trial against Heard. Tracy Jacobs was one of the people who testified, as she had worked as the actor's agent for decades. Jacobs claimed that she had explained to Depp that his constant lateness and substance use were hurting his career. CNN quoted Jacobs saying his star had dimmed due to his lateness and other things. People were talking and the question was out there about his behavior. This past summer, Depp claimed in the explosive defamation trial that Heard had defamed him in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed. While Heard did not name Depp in the piece, she did describe herself as a public figure representing domestic misconduct. The jury ended up holding her liable for over $10 million in damages, but they did also reward her with $2 million on the grounds that Depp's former attorney, Adam Waldman, had defamed her by inaccurately calling her allegations a hoax. These two have dealt with so many of their personal problems publicly, it's hard to believe that they ever wanted to keep anything private. Earlier this month, Heard announced that she had made the very difficult decision to settle the case rather than move forward with her appeal. A source close to Depp told the Daily Beast at the time Heard agreed to pay $1 million, which is a deal that prevents her from paying the full $10 million. In her statement, she said, I defended my truth, and in doing so, my life as I knew it was destroyed. The vilification I've faced on social media is an amplified version of the ways in which women are re-victimized when they come forward. Now I finally have the opportunity to emancipate myself from something I attempted to leave over 6 years ago on terms I can agree to. I have made no admission there are no restrictions or gags with respect to my voice moving forward. Heard seems to be over all of the drama, and I mean she was sent through the ringer during their trial. I'm sure at this point she's going to take Depp receiving negative attention as an opportunity community to just sit back and watch what happens. News of Depp's latest film broke in January after he lost his case against the Sun Publisher News Group newspaper in the UK over the piece that called him a wife beater, and before the Virginia trial this summer. Variety has also reported that Depp is set to play King Louis XV in the new movie. Mai Wen, who is the director and the one clashing with Depp, will also star in the movie as his final mistress, who the film is named after. Netflix is set to license the new film for digital distribution in France after its theatrical release, and they still have yet to announce the release date for North America. Let me know your thoughts on Depp's behavior on the set of his comeback film. Is this going to be what his career needs, or is he going to sabotage his own career with his poor set etiquette? Moving on to our next story, actor Whoopi Goldberg is facing a fresh round of backlash after her latest historically inaccurate statement surrounding the atrocities committed to Jewish people and others during World War II, which she has claimed wasn't originally about race in an interview with the UK newspaper, The Sunday Times. This controversy marks the second time this year that Goldberg has come under fire for what Jewish leaders and experts on the event say are inaccurate and offensive comments about the tragedy that took the lives of more than 6 million European Jews from 1933 to 1945. Goldberg's latest remarks come from an interview published on Saturday after the reporter said something along the lines of "at the time Jews were seen as race." He was referring to the time in January when the actor claimed that the devastation was not about race. Goldberg told the reporter, "Yes, but that's the killer, isn't it? The oppressor is telling you what you are. Why are you believing them?" She then continued on to say it wasn't originally about race. Remember who they were taking first. They were not racially motivated. They were taking the lives of people they considered to be mentally defective, and then they made this decision. The reporter then touched on how Jewish people's heads and noses were measured to prove that they were a distinct race, to which Goldberg responded with, "They did that to black people too, but it doesn't change the fact that you could not tell a Jew on the street. You could find me, you couldn't find them. That was the point I was making. But you would have thought that I'd taken a big old stinky dump on the table butt naked." I don't see why this point was so dire for Goldberg to get across. Like, was it really necessary for her? Anyways, she ended up apologizing following the criticism of the interview. She said, "It was never my intention to appear as if I was doubling down on hurtful comments, especially after talking with and hearing people like rabbis and old and new friends weighing in. I'm still learning a lot, and believe me, I heard everything everyone said to me. I believe that it was about race, and I'm still as sorry now as I was then that I upset, hurt, and angered people." Goldberg ended her statement saying her support for the Jewish community has not wavered and never will, especially now with all the commotion that Kanye has made when it comes to hate surrounding the Jewish community. The last thing they need is another celebrity trying to invalidate or water down their experience. Backlash to and corrections of her comments came quick. The Auschwitz-Birkenau Memorial and Museum on Monday tweeted a passage from a letter wrote in 1919, 14 years before he was appointed Chancellor of Germany and opened his first camp. In the passage, he states that Jews are definitely a race and calls Jewish people an alien race unable and unwilling to sacrifice its racial distinctiveness. Along with the excerpt, the Auschwitz Memorial said the text is one of the first major statements made by the wicked leader with regard to the Jewish question. While the museum did not mention Goldberg by name in their tweets, several other Jewish leaders used it to call out the inaccuracy of her comments. David Harris, former president of the American Jewish Committee, retweeted the passage and addressed Goldberg, writing, "Stop claiming it wasn't about race. It was all about race." A survivor, Lucy Lipiner, tweeted about the actor's comments. "We told her that her comments harm us and she simply doesn't care." Goldberg's earlier comments led to ABC suspending her from The View for 2 weeks, calling the comments wrong and hurtful. Hopefully, after the second time her comments have come under fire, she will finally understand and stop trying to make her incorrect point. Let me hear all your thoughts on Whoopi Goldberg and her comments down below. Now on to Meghan. The actor turned duchess turned one of the most hated women on the internet is no stranger to a bad review or a negative label. This reviewer, however, may have taken things to a whole new level of insulting when she compared Markle to Kanye West and Donald Trump. Politico writer Joanna Weiss published a story called "2022 is the year we all finally got tired of the narcissists." Weiss had plenty of food to fuel her story because along with the names I already mentioned, she noted Sam Bankman-Fried and Elizabeth Holmes. When it comes to Meghan Markle, Weiss says the Netflix doc Harry and Meghan backfired in a big way. I don't think she's alone with that thought because despite it being one of the most watched docu-series in a long time, that doesn't mean it was also the most loved. Weiss wrote, "My natural sympathy for the couple started turning into irritation, and it occurred to me that ego has its limits. And it struck me that the overreach that led to the Sussexes' critically panned mega series is the same impulse that turned Elon Musk into a terror on Twitter that prompted Ye to up the the ante of outrageous behavior until he crossed the line into blatant anti-Semitism that sent Bankman-Fried from the top of the world to jail. I agree with her that I did originally feel for Meghan, but after the dog, it all disappeared. The author does admit that Harry and Meghan's conduct is clearly less harmful than the others, but still problematic. The documentary is jam-packed with grievances against the royal family, like Harry revealing that his brother screamed at him after dropping the bombshell that he and Meghan were leaving, but in their tell-all Never Heard Before Anything Goes series, they really didn't share much interesting that we didn't already know. Apparently now that the couple have shared their story, Harry and Meghan's $100 million Netflix deal will now pivot to other subjects, including a doc on former US Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As long as they aren't in it, I'm sure their future docs will receive far more positive feedback than their own. Hopefully in 2023 we will hear far less from the people on Joanna's list than we did in 2022.
What's up, IOers, and welcome back for yet another amazing episode of Inform Overload with me, your host, Matthew Stephen. On today's episode, we're going to talk about missing Mr. Yeezy. Congratulations to Nick Cannon on baby number 12, and how the Kardashians have been denying. Well, where's Waldo, or should we be asking, where is Kanye? Well, according to former business manager, Kanye West has gone missing. It seems Ye has been hiding since businessman Thomas St. John has been trying to serve him with legal documents. According to reports, St. John said in a court hearing he has not been able to find producer turned rapper for quite some time, as he's suing him for breach of contract. Earlier in the year, he was dropped from his contracts with Adidas and Balenciaga over hateful and dangerous comments relating to Jewish people. The 45-year-old was also being evicted from his grand space in the Calabasas for non-payment of rent, which the legal case being called an unlawful detainer of their property. Yeye is also said to owe $610,000 to the government in tax liens and another $100,000 to a creative director for his contracted photo shoot. In court papers filed on Monday, December 19th, Thomas sought more time to serve the lawsuit papers to West, as he has been unable to locate the rapper. Thomas and his team have reportedly had difficulty reaching legal representatives for the musician and entrepreneur. The court filing stated, "We were advised about a new law firm for defendants, but not a specific point of contact. We subsequently learned of information in the news that the law firm identified as new counsel was not affiliated with the defendants. Accordingly, we have not been able to serve defendants through their counsel. As a general matter, we have had difficulty confirming the best current address of Kanye West at the time of writing." A case management conference had been set for April 2023. St. John claims Kanye West had agreed to pay him a monthly retainer, but since the two had an aggressive meeting, West has stopped paying him. According to an article on All Hip Hop, the Jesus Walks rapper asked Thomas to be his chief financial officer of Donda, one of Ye's other businesses, and with this new position, Thomas St. James was to be paid a retainer fee of $300,000. St. John needed a guarantee that West wouldn't abruptly abandon the commercial relationship, in addition to the financial costs and hazards associated with committing to West as a client. But Mr. St. John offered to settle for a contract lasting at least 18 months. However, with Kanye's recent money troubles, is anyone shocked? AllHipHop.com has reported he has to pay his ex-wife after they finalize their divorce, and he is having problems with funding renovations to his Malibu property. Financial woes for the Chicago native came only months after he severed relationships with Gap and Adidas. Ye went from $6.6 billion to maybe $400 million. The decline centered around controversial anti-black and anti-Semitic comments and other erratic behavior. The inability for Ye's business manager to find him is a similar issue his former lawyers are having. Greenberg has been trying to withdraw as Ye's counsel, but they have been struggling to locate Kanye West and wanted to serve him with a notice via text. On to topic number 2 for the day. Nick Cannon has expanded the family once again. Congratulations, Nick, on baby number 12. According to CNN, the Masked Singer host and model Alyssa Scott had daughter Halo Marie Cannon on December 14th. Scott revealed on Instagram on Thursday. Their daughter, Cannon's 12th child to date, arrived roughly 1 year after the death of the duo's son, Zen, who died at the age of 5 months from brain cancer. December 14th, 2022, our lives are forever changed, Scott wrote. Zen is in every breath I take. I know his spirit was with us in the room that morning. I know he was watching down on us. He shows me signs every day. I will hold on to this memory forever. I will remember the sound of Nick's voice saying, "It's a girl," and the look of everything we've been through flash across his face. I will remember the sound of her crying out with her first breath and feeling her heartbeat against mine. Cannon has fathered a dozen children to date. Cannon has 3 children with model Brittany Bell, sons Rise Messiah, 10 weeks, and Golden Sagon, 5, and daughter Powerful Queen, 2. He also has 3 children with Abby De La Rosa, Beautiful Zeppelin, 6 weeks, and twins Zion and Zillion, 18 months, and 11-year-old twins Monroe and Moroccan with ex-wife Mariah Carey. Cannon is also father to son Legendary Love, 5 months, with model Brie, and daughter Onyx Ice Cole, 3 months, with model Lanisha Cole. Last month, Scott shared photos from her maternity shoot on Instagram, which showed her posing nude in a bathtub with Cannon as they celebrated the pregnancy. In an exclusive photo shared with People, the two shared a kiss in the hot tub. The photo was taken over Cannon's shoulder with Scott holding her chest as she leaned in. In one of the other photos, Cannon kissed Scott's bare bump as they sat in the sudsy tub. She held her chest and looked down at him in the shot. Another photo showed Scott, who is also mom to 4-year-old daughter Zila from a previous relationship, standing over Cannon, who reached up and held her bump from below, writing, "This is a miracle and a blessing." One day after Scott announced she was expecting her 3rd baby, the model thanked her followers on Instagram for the outpouring of love sent her way. "Thank you for all the love," she captioned a series of black and white photos of herself showing off her bare baby bump. The model shared 2 additional posts on Instagram from her maternity shoot with daughter Zila, noting in one of the captions that she did not plan on finding out the sex of her baby on the way until the infant's arrival. In November, Cannon spoke to Billboard News about his big and unconventional family, saying he had no idea if he would be done having kids after baby number 12, but saying, "I think I'm good right now. I wake up being a father, thinking about my kids," he told Billboard, "and everything else comes after that." Moving right along onto our last topic of the day and talking about how Kim Kardashian seemingly denies Photoshop accusations from viral family Christmas Eve picture. According to People, Kim and her sisters face online criticism for Kardashian-Jenner family portrait, which many people speculated to be poorly edited. Kim Kardashian appears to be setting the record straight regarding her family's viral holiday photo shoot. Earlier this week, the Skims mogul, 42, shared a Kardashian-Jenner snapshot featuring herself, sisters Kourtney, Khloe, Kendall, and Kylie and their mom Kris at the family's annual Christmas Eve party. However, many people in the comments on social media speculated that the portrait was photoshopped, speculating that individual pictures of the moguls were cut and pasted together to appear as though they posed as a unit. Whole TikTok videos were also dedicated to pointing out what some believe to be Photoshop fails. On Thursday, with a behind-the-scene video of the 6 Kardashian stars gathered around for the still, proving they were all together for the shot. In the clip shared to Kim's Instagram story and reposted by a fan account, all are seen huddled in front of red Christmas trees in their festive outfits. Khloe wearing Nicholas Jabran, Kendall wearing Valentino, and Kris wearing vintage Valentino, dressed in scarlet red. Kim in silver Versace, while Kylie was wearing a nude and lace Mugler design, and Kourtney in a white cutout gown, her own take on black tie holiday dressing. One person wrote, "Is Kendall photoshopped into the picture? Feet look off." Another Instagram commenter added, "They look either photoshopped or after a fight." Despite all the headlines swirling around the family this year, the queens of reality television celebrated the holidays in glamorous, opulent style. This time, Kourtney hosted the yearly bash in her home turned winter wonderland. The evening also saw a performance from 9-time Grammy nominee Sia, who sang her hits Snowman and Chandelier inside of a makeshift human-sized gift box. The Hulu personality has previously been open about editing some of her photos, including one that showed her daughter Chicago 4 at Disneyland with Khloe's daughter True, also 4. In April, Kim admitted that True, who Khloe 38 shares with ex Tristan Thompson, wasn't actually at the theme park. The original pics were stormy, Kim wrote via Instagram at the time, referring to Kylie's 4-year-old daughter. However, I asked Kylie if I could post them, and she said she wasn't really feeling posting at the moment. And so I respect that. But it wasn't gonna mess up my Instagram feed. Shai was wearing pink and it matched perfectly. The Skin founder explained that the aesthetic of her Instagram feed at the time was pink and blue. She said, "I will be damned if Kylie will ruin that for me and mess up my Instagram grid." So thank you, True, for taking one for the team. Kim didn't directly address editing allegations on Wednesday, but her video proved that the sisters did all post together at the family's Christmas Eve bash and in the same order as her original post. Well, IOers, that's all we have for today's episode. If you like this video, we'd like to hear from you, so please leave comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe. I'm your host, Matthew Stephen, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Ciao!